At Metropolis, we know accuracy leads to trust. For your good health, we bring a comprehensive test menu across India, so you can stay well and stay safe. With Metropolis, test assured, rest assured.
Stress, pollution, toxins, and the sun make your skin tone dark and uneven. Presenting Glutone 1000 that reduces melanin production to lighten the skin. Give an even skin tone from head to toe with enhanced radiance and overall glow naturally. That's 4 benefits in one. Glutone, beauty from within.
When you live in a fast-moving, ever-changing world, life brings forth unlimited possibilities. Yours to explore, excite, enjoy, educate, evaluate, and elucidate with Elan. Never stop moving forward with Darwin Platform Group. Darwin Platform Group, the visionaries.
The Wadia Group was founded by Lavji Nasarwanji Wadia in 1736 when he started the Marine Construction Company. With its heritage of trust and quality, the Wadia Group presents its real estate business, Bombay Realty. Continuing this remarkable journey, Bombay Realty presents its iconic development, Island City Centre, a mixed-use development designed to redefine luxury living. Once you step into ICC, you will see how Bombay Realty's life-changing ideology, live, work, play. ICC lets you enjoy the ultimate luxury in the chaos of Mumbai.
Hi friends, I am Dr. Pravin Badnokar and good evening everyone. I'm a consultant dermatologist working at Skin Crest Clinic in Matunga, Mumbai, and I'm glad to be here today. I'm very happy to be among such a beautiful crowd. And what I would like to tell you all is that we are going to be speaking today on a very important topic, which is very dear to each one of you all. I would like to thank the Times Group, Bombay Times, and even the Adroit Glutone Group for having invited me here. And what we are going to basically be speaking on is what skincare routine is all about. We all are aware of how to take care of the skin. So what I'm going to be speaking on is probably about how a skin routine should be involved into your routine. Now, let me tell you a very important point, that safety is an important priority. So whatever that you're using in your routine should basically involve something that's very safe, and you should know how to use it, when to stop it. So talking about, skincare routines. So the moisturizers or the cleansers, what are the kinds that need to be used is something that I would like to, tell everybody about. Cleansers are nothing but something that exfoliate the skin. They peel out the skin, the dead layers, they rejuvenate the skin and regenerate the skin. So what one needs to do is that if you have a very dry skin type, you need to use some glycerin or oatmeal based moisturizers. If you have a very oily skin type, you use more of exfoliating face washes. And of course, limit the use in a particular day. Use limited number of times that you wash your face. Then comes moisturizers. There are different kinds of moisturizers. One feels that why should one use a moisturizer if you have a lot of acne on the skin? The third is use of sunscreens. There are different forms of sunscreens which are available. Some are physical sunscreens which tend to block all kinds of radiations, ultraviolet, infrared radiations, and as a result of which they sometimes tend to trigger a lot of acne in patients who are prone to acne. Then it comes to toners. Now toners is something what I in my practice use only for people with oily skin types. If you have a dry skin type, you should not use a toner daily, right? Because toners contain 20 to 40% of alcohol base in it. So that is something that can dry out your skin. Of course, there are non-alcohol based toners available, but again, there's a caution you use in that. Then of course, comes the use of, the antioxidants which are there. Antioxidants like vitamin C, glutathione, which is a very effective antioxidant, works very well in giving a good glow on the skin. So I have spoken to you all about, cleansers, about moisturizers, about toners, and then sunscreens, and lastly, the antioxidants. So when you incorporate all these in the form of, the right product for your type of skin that you have, that is when you'll start getting a good, effect on the skin. So this was basically something that I wanted to, speak on with respect to, the products and, in terms of a skincare routine that you can follow. I'm sure, each of one of you, here around today have a few questions, to ask, some doubts in the mind. You're free to ask me any queries if you have.
Okay, so I wanted to ask that are oral supplements necessary when following any skincare routine? Like, are they safe or not? Like, we hear a lot of things about gym supplements, this supplement, that supplement. So with respect to skincare routine specifically, are they safe?
Again, a good question. So the thing is that, your skin is constantly exposed to different kind of, environmental, processes like, your pollution, the dust. A lot of sun damage is also happening all the time. So when you take an oral supplement, it obviously works, through your blood. It comes through your blood into your skin vessels or your blood vessels, and that's how it helps the skin. So oral supplementations, again, in terms of good antioxidants, is what the key is. Yes, they do work. They don't normally have any side effects when taken orally. There's no time limit. You can take it for 6 months or a year. Or normally what we do is, we give the, capsules or these antioxidants for around 6 months, take a, holiday off from these medicines for 3 months and then again restart them. So what they work is basically they provide that antioxidant power punch. What happens is when your skin is exposed to a lot of, sunlight or environmental dust, there's a lot of, we call them as free radicals or damaging elements or chemicals that are developed that tend to cause a pigment on the skin. They increase your freckles, they increase your tan, and that is what it does. So when you take good antioxidant, it fights all that. So it's absolutely safe. You can definitely take it. There is no, harm in not taking them, but make sure that they are written to you by, a dermatologist, by a doctor, and not just probably given to you by your friend or a, beauty salon or over the counter, So it's important to be safe. As I said, safety is a priority. So do take antioxidants that work well, and they do give a good overall evenness and glow on the skin and help in decreasing the tan as well.
Hello. So my question was, recently the Korean skincare routine is really famous. So they do follow a skincare routine of 10 steps, which include a lot of exfoliation. Then you have sheet mask and all of that stuff. So is it important to follow all the 10 steps, or it's fine to do, use 2-3 products and that'll be good for your routine?
Yeah, so it's absolutely fine, as long as you have some level of exfoliation going on the skin with a good sun protection, moisturizing the dry, areas of the skin, that's absolutely fine. You don't ideally need, a 10-step or a 17-step or a, 100-step procedure at all. The basic things about managing or maintaining a good skin is firstly through topicals. That is, you use good moisturizers, cleansers, sunscreens, protect your skin from environmental issues. And of course, the second is about, oral intake of antioxidants that, helps your body from within. So if you just balance the two, and in terms of topical applications and intake of certain tablets, which is giving you good amount of antioxidants, that should be all in taking good care of the skin. And of course, not abusing on food or fried food or fat food or oily food, because what happens is when you have an acne prone skin, if you have foods with high glycemic index, foods which tend to increase your sugars suddenly, you get a lot of breakouts on the skin. So when you're controlling the diet part of it, that also can definitely play a very big role in that. So many a times, when you have, now for example, if you all are into certain events very frequently and you all have an event planned maybe a week or 10 days later, if you just cut down on things like sugar or fat or fried food for that 10 days, you can just see magic working on the skin. You may not even probably need to go to an expert. I'm sure you all must have experienced that. When you just cut down or reduce half of what you were eating the previous month, you will just notice that big change. So I do recommend that to a number of people who are into events, or who have, suppose now their wedding function coming up, and they follow that and it works like magic. So it's not necessary that you need to stick to a 10 or a 20-step plan. Basic things like what you do, and occasionally get yourself checked by your dermatologist, that should be good enough.
Good evening, doctor. So recently I've started to observe that there are a lot of open pores in my skin. So I don't know if my skin is trying to tell me something. Is it a good thing, or
Yeah, so open pores basically happens when two things, if you're basically overusing makeup on your skin, where the skin is probably trying to just even out and breathe in a bit, or it can happen if there is some form of treatment being done on your skin in terms of little pressure on the skin, like removal of blackheads, whiteheads or so. And thirdly, if the skin is very dehydrated, in the sense that you're not providing it the moisturization that it needs, or maybe your water intake is not much, or maybe you're not taking much of antioxidants. So what it shows is that when you get open pores, it's one of these factors which I mentioned. So of course, how do you counteract that? So a good way to counteract it is basically intake of a lot of water, taking good amount of antioxidants, using certain products which will help in tightening the skin, because that's how the pores tend to close. So products that contain vitamin C, which tend to induce something that we call as collagen stimulation, because your skin is basically like it's like the cement in the wall. The collagen is like the cement in the wall. When it breaks down, it tends to form open pores. So when you stimulate that with vitamin C or glutathione, it pushes these elements together, and that closes down your the pores that you have on the skin. So, and of course, drinking a lot of water also helps, because it keeps the skin flushed, you get a good glow on the skin, and of course antioxidants.
All right, thank you, doctor. Also, is the health of your scalp anywhere related to the kind of skin that you have?
Yes, so if you have a lot of dandruff issues, you may get a lot of pimples or acne on the forehead area. You tend to have, people who tend to have a lot of acne, their hair becomes very oily every 2 or 3 days. That's because from a hormone stimulus, the oil glands are getting active. So if your scalp has a lot of dandruff, you might end up getting a lot of acne. Or if you have a lot of dry skin, there's a difference between just dandruff and extreme dry scalp, then you might be suffering sometimes more from eczema or other features, which needs to be looked into by your dermatologist.
So my question is that right now I'm in my mid-20s, and everywhere we get to read that this is the time when we have to start taking care of our skin against aging. So visible signs may not be visible right now, but otherwise they say that it starts. So firstly, is that true? And secondly, are there any special products or something in my food that I can add to counteract it?
Yeah, so as we know, aging is a continuous process. It starts, in fact, from the time you're born, you start aging. Aging comes, when you start seeing lines, wrinkles on the face. That's what's normally, a general information everywhere. So when you're in your mid-20s, of course, you go out more, you're exposed to sunlight, to different kind of environments. very, very important to be into that routine which I had mentioned earlier, about a good cleanser, moisturizer, good use of a sunscreen, as well as using a good amount of antioxidants. Of course, aging progresses over a period of time. If you're too stressed, both physical stress in terms of a lot of exertion, sun exposures, or even emotional stress, you do tend to age faster, because that way what happens is when you are stressed, oxidants or materials that will damage your skin tend to form, and because of that breakdown you get lines and wrinkles. So if you are into that period where you have a lot of stress, or both physical, emotional, whatever, taking a lot of antioxidants helps. It firstly prevents aging in a very big way. Secondly, drinking a lot of water, application of certain serums every day can help. So if you have a very oily skin type, obviously you tend to avoid products which contain hyaluronic acid, which is a very common anti-aging serum that's used. If you're very dry skin type, yes, you can use hyaluronic acid on your face. But if you're very oily skin type, that's something that you should avoid using. When you have an oily skin type, sometimes the aging is delayed because of the natural oils that are present on the skin. So if you just use your regular cleansers, moisturizers, that should be good enough.
So, doctor, I have a combination skin type. So, should I be applying it in like different parts of my?
So, when you have a combination skin type, when you use one particular type of product, there is a high chance that you might dry out the skin more or make it more oily. So, it's very important to balance it. So balancing, what I mean is, for example, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you use like an exfoliating, a drying out face wash. And Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, you can balance it out with an oatmeal or a glycerin-based face wash. So that balance is maintained. And once you balance the skin, combination skin type works very well in that.
Good evening, doctor. So my question to you is that we as models do a lot of back-to-back shoots. And I personally end up getting a lot of acne with makeup products being used back to back on my skin. So how do you think I can tackle that?
Great. That's a fantastic question, because that's something that comes from what you're facing on a daily basis. So very practical point, you have obviously makeup sometimes that's been put for 7 hours, 8 hours, 12 hours sometimes, it depends on where your shoot is and all that. A very important thing to remember is that whenever you have, suppose, some breaks in between, it is very important, if possible, in that scenario where the makeup can be removed with micellar water, you can suppose give an hour or two and reapply it, then that can be done. That's one thing. But there are many times situations where makeup can't be removed out. You have touch-ups. In fact, you have more and more makeup added in that. So a good start to that, initially for the day, that is before you end up going for an event like this, is applying certain products that will prevent these acne from erupting. See, because acne erupt when there is a blockage, or the complete sealing up of the skin. And that's when the bacteria and everything start growing up, because acne are also caused by bacteria. So a contamination that comes from outside the area where you're exposed to, contamination that might come from the makeup itself, triggers your acne. So when you use some good antibacterial creams, there are a number of antibacterial cream, antioxidants that are available. If you use that as a full layer before, maybe around 1 or 2 hours before you apply your makeup, that would be a great way in preventing. Secondly, when the shoot is over, suppose you're finished with your routine, very important to remove all the makeup with micellar water, with good face washes, applying a good amount of antioxidants, and repeating that same antibacterial cream at night. So if you follow that routine, it would keep the bacteria which are contaminating the area away and lessen the chances or triggers of your acne. Thirdly, what I can suggest to you is obviously what I mentioned earlier, is about cutting down on the diet, food related, something that you have like fat food or fried food, sugar foods. If you cut it down on maybe 2 days before that particular day, when you're going to have a lot of makeup being applied from morning 8 to night 8, that's when that can also help you greatly. And of course, using a skincare routine between your shoots helps in reducing the bacterial count again and reduces your acne. I think something like this can fit well in your routine.
Thank you so much. So I also want to ask you another question, that to remove my makeup, I also use baby oil, and I have an acne prone skin. So is it good for my skin or not?
You should not be using, I know baby oil is being promoted a lot for removal of makeup, but if that's okay, if you have a very dry, sensitive skin type, if you have a lot of oily or acne prone skin, that is something you definitely need to avoid. So what you can do is, micellar water is something you have probably have heard of. So micellar water can work wonderful in removing, the makeup. So that is something that I can suggest to you.
Introducing Glutone Serum. इस प्लीजिंग ब्यूटी कॉम्प्लेक्स सेरम में है 3rd जनरेशन ब्यूटी इंग्रेडिएंट्स जो डार्क स्पॉट्स को कम करे और दे ग्लोइंग स्किन। इसकी यूनिक कॉस्मेटिक ड्रोन टेक्नोलॉजी मेलानिन पर टारगेटेड डिलीवरी करे और स्किन को बनाए इवन टोन इन जस्ट 30 days. Glutone Serum, beauty delivered.